so we can call this thing to order. Let's call the Ethics and Election Committee to order. It's about 2 minutes after noon on November 22nd, 2016. And I remember exactly where I was 63 years ago.
What?
When the President Kennedy was, no, it was 53 years ago.
Oh,
when
yes,
President
that's
Kennedy was shot.
right.
That was today.
Oh,
you know.
man.
Oh.
I was in junior high study hall,
Hmm.
and our principal, Mr. Bolgram, came in and talked to the teacher. They went out in the hall for a minute, and then they came in and they made the announcement. Probably about 40 of us are in that big study hall.
Wow.
That was quite the memorable situation, very shocking for the junior high kids to see their president assassinated.
Hmm.
And that was actually just the beginning of the assassinations. They continued, a few years. By the time we got done with 68, there was about 4 of them, So, anyway, now that we got this history out of the way, I guess we could introduce ourselves. Start with Randy.
Amanda was their clerk's office.
Oh, Rosella Young, Office of Assembly Council.
Sherry's in the legislative aid.
David Asbeth, Board of Health.
Amy Silberg, Clerk's Office.
Pete Peterson, Assembly. All right, well, let's get a Board of Ethics update.
We are progressing. We're slogging through the rewrite. And we took a couple of weeks off. We were meeting every week. And then schedules got it got too burdensome for the group. So we took a couple of weeks off. We broke it up into 4 different sections, and we've made our way through about 3 of them. But what we're doing now is we've made our way through those 3, and now we're going back and making corrections to those 3 sections. And so our next meeting, I believe, is when is it? First week in December?
It is,
Maybe?
no,
we moved to December 15th.
December
didn't we?
15th.
Yeah, basically everybody got kind of burned out. And so we are going to meet on December 15th and either finish the 4th section or go back and get caught up on where we're at, because we're making lots of changes to the draft. And so we were hoping to get a draft to you in the Assembly by December. We're now looking at January. There's just no way around it. We did everything we could. It just got too burdensome for our group to meet every week and get everything done. And we're also making a lot of changes. There's a lot of work that's being done. So we're looking at, I think we talked the last meeting about January getting a draft to the Assembly for its review. And of course, one of those, the plan was to have a draft completed and then have an open session for people to come in and give their viewpoints for a few people. I think there would be a representative maybe from this group, a representative from, I can't remember who else we talked about showing up, but having several people show up at that meeting, then having like a final draft, you might say, that draft will then go to the Assembly and to, I assume, this subcommittee as well. And then the ball will be in someone else's court. But we wanted to get a good draft going that was as complete as we thought it possible.
Well, yeah, obviously, ethics ordinance is not something you want to hurry through,
No.
We don't rewrite these every other year or anything, so.
And there was a lot of freehand drafting in a way, because it was started out as between 50 and 60 pages, and now we're down to about 15.
Oh.
So we're having to really condense a lot of provisions, but we don't want to miss anything. But we also have to very carefully draft it to make sure that we not only miss nothing, get rid of a lot of the extraneous stuff that we think is extraneous. We're combining 3 different groups into one, but then we also we want to cover a lot of the things that have come up in the last 4, 5, 6 years in the way of ethics opinions that we've drafted and things that we see as problems with the previous draft
Mhm.
of the previous code.
Right.
So we're eliminating, we're cutting, we're deleting, we're changing, we're adding. It's this very movable piece. And I had a huge, really, the person who's really been doing a lot of this work, and we all are meeting a lot, but Deanne is a tremendous amount. Taking, a solid week to do the first draft, and she spends a tremendous amount of time of her time doing this work for us. And she's the one who takes a lot of the changes back, redrafts, brings it back again, we go over it again, she takes it. I mean, it's this constant back and forth that's going on. It's been taking a lot of work. And of course, the whole group as a whole is doing a fantastic job. Really, I mean, I've recommended coming in once a week, and they're like, sure, we'll be there. I mean, it's just been a really good group, really, really good group to come together and work on this.
Well, great.
And I think we're down one right now, too.
We are.
We're down one, and our person who just turned out, so we're actually short one person. I don't know if that speeds things up or slows things down, but.
So, is the mayor looking to appoint someone additional?
I assume
then?
so. I've heard that's in the works, but I usually don't find this out until someone shows up and then someone says, I'm here. Great, great. So that's my update. Any questions from anybody about what we're up to? And that's basically almost all of what we've been doing. We have had some regularly scheduled meetings that we've just quickly gone through and then gone on to the rewrite.
Well, I pretty much realized that when we were originally talking about doing the rewrite, that it probably was going to be time consuming, especially if you're trying to make it more concise and bring it down from 60 pages to a more reasonable number. And we tried to do that with the cell tower ordinance, and it went the other way. We ended up with more pages. So, but anyway, well, I appreciate your report.
Absolutely.
Thanks for all your good work. I guess if you want to leave early.
May I be excused?
You're excused.
All right, take care.
All right, have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thank you, you too. Take care.
And I'll be leaving as well.
Okay, Amy.
And excuse
And
me.
so, I guess we'll, excuse me?
Excuse me, Chair Peterson. What was his name again? The fellow that just left?
David
David?
Nesbitt.
Oh, that's David Nesbitt. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Next, we'll get an update about vote by mail from Amanda.
I'm going to talk a little bit more about our upcoming 2017 election. Although we are still very focused on vote by mail, we are beginning to shift gears and focus a little bit more on the upcoming regular municipal election of April 2017. We've compiled this year's election calendar. This is one of the things that sort of guides us through the chaoticness of elections. We start, first of all, with Anchorage Municipal Code and Charter and identify all the important dates that are set out in there. And so just to sort of touch on some of the highlights that are coming up as we move through the holiday seasons and into January. In January, on January 10th is where the introduction for ordinance containing ballot propositions. I read in the newspaper this morning that the Anchorage School Board passed theirs, so I imagine that's coming to the Assembly. And I imagine that the Assembly, along with the administration, is working on other issues to be on the ballot as propositions. Additionally, the clerk's office has had 3 petitions in the last month. We've had 2 petitions relating to fluoride in the water, and those are both out currently circulating and gathering signatures. And then right now there is another petition under review with the municipal attorney's office for legal sufficiency to be placed on the ballot, and it's regarding a provision of the charter as it relates to the tax cap.
Tax cap or spending limit.
spending limit,
Spending limit.
excuse me. So there's been a lot of conversation about that, and that came in a couple days ago. So we will hear back from the municipal attorney's office. But based on the response from the attorney's office, there is the potential to have, if those petitions gather sufficient signatures, those could be on the ballot in addition to whatever props that come from the assembly. Heading on through January, there is the recommended date for submitting referendum petitions towards the end of January, and then the final action on public hearings for the ballot propositions. Then sort of the excitement begins with the notice of vacancy published and filing for office opening. We won't specifically go through this whole calendar, but just so to sort of give you an update from the clerk's office, we've been very busy updating all the forms for this year. We're hoping to get everything up on the website towards the beginning of December, so it's available and out there. I know we've already gotten some phone calls of folks that are interested in running for office, so we'd like to have those documents as soon as they're completed up on the website so people can take that into consideration if they want to run. But beyond that, we are really busy. We are meeting weekly with the project manager for vote by mail and continuing to move forward with all of the items for vote by mail, along with preparing for this upcoming election. That is the extent of my update.
Well, thank you, yeah. It won't be too much longer. We won't be using the room downstairs for our work sessions. We'll be going up to the mayor's conference room, I would imagine.
Well, we actually might not be doing that this year because we are moving into the election center.
That's right.
So we might actually be able to leave that for the assembly for your usage, which
Oh,
would
good.
be very nice. So that is part of the continued vote by mail work that we're doing. We are buying the supplies that we need to move over there, moving the stuff over there, getting the place set up. Currently, it's a huge empty warehouse, so
What's the location?
it's in Ship Creek.
And so are we still keeping up with stakeholders? Are we doing anything with that right now?
We invited the stakeholders group to come to the Captain Cook. We had a presentation from one of our vendors that we selected for the ballot tabulation, and they did a presentation, and we invited all of our stakeholders along with some of the clerks that were in town for the Alaska Association of Municipal Clerks, and we had quite a few of the clerks attend, and we had a handful of folks from the stakeholders group, and it was really great opportunity to see the equipment that we selected, and I think people were really quickly able to understand why we came to the decision that we did for the equipment we selected. It's going to make that process of tabulating ballots really fantastic, really streamlined.
And so which company was it that was making the presentation?
Dominion
Dominion.
Voting.
I see.
And that is who we currently use for our ballot creation. So we have worked with Dominion since I've been here in 2010. We've been working with that company. They've sort of transitioned to various forms, but we have developed a really good working relationship with the folks there, which is really great to have when you are dealing with elections and sometimes have emergencies and need to be able to get a hold of someone right away. They're really easy to contact.
Good. All right. Well, any additional information about elections that you feel we need to be updated upon today?
I think that is all that I have. It's kind of a quick update, but we are busy at work.
Yeah, I see since Dennis isn't here, then that's probably it for updates. So I don't see too many audience members, unless there's comments from the people at the other end of the table here. Any audience participation, questions, comments? I haven't seen see anything.
I don't think.
Well, I guess we're gonna be adjourning early here. It looks like it's about 17 minutes or so after noon. We're adjourned.